Hello, welcome and good morning. This video is a explanation of what we're going to be doing in the Cacao Ceremony tomorrow. So the Cacao Ceremony is called Moving Towards Alignment, an exploration of your vibratory core. And I know for some of you perhaps you're wondering, like, what is the vibratory core and why would I want to do a cacao ceremony and why would I want to spend my Sunday morning doing this? So the vibratory core is this central line, this midline of the body, the line of the spine, known in yoga traditions as the madhya, the midline. And it's the channel that in yoga is called Sushumna, the central channel. Now in the embodiment practices realm, it's sometimes known as the vertical core or the vibratory core. And the reason that we would perhaps want to access this is that this central line of the body can be a space that gives us a real sense of home within ourselves, a real sense of safety when we are going out into the world and we're moving right and we're moving left. Where are we moving from? And where are we going to move back to come back into ourselves so that we're not constantly moving out and away? And in accessing this vibratory core or the madhya, the midline, there can be, in my experience, I can only talk from my experience, a real sense of strength and grounding as we access the innate strength of the spine and the bones of the spine, the pillar, the central pillar of the spine, as well as a sense of illumination and expansion, a real sense of the ability to relax because we are held. Our spine is able to relax, but even in that relaxedness, there's this strength and this power of just what is, which is this skeletal system that holds us up. So we don't have to try. We don't have to keep on holding our bodies, holding the tension, trying to do the thing. It can help us to be in the world in a more relaxed way, as well as whatever else comes through for you in accessing your core, which may be very different for each of us. But that is something that each individual would need to experience for themselves. And why would I do this in a cacao ceremony as opposed to a yoga class or an embodiment practice? Well, in a yoga class or an embodiment practice, the emphasis, if you like, would be on accessing the vibratory core whilst very much going through the poses. There'd be an access point through the physicality. Now, in the cacao ceremony or in a cacao ceremony setting, we will be accessing our vibratory core through physicality, and with the grace and the power of the cacao spirit, she may, or he may, depending on how you relate to the spirit of cacao, may help us to access the more subtle realms, the more subtle energetic dimensions of the vibratory core of Sushumna Nadi, where it can then be a point of access to source, or a point from which we radiate into our most natural self, which can give us an opening to our guides and the spirit realms and other dimensions. So that's where we'll be going more in the cacao ceremony, and that's why I've paired it with cacao. So I think that's probably quite a lot of information, and if you're still watching, still with us, then I wanted to give you this little taster of just one or two of the techniques that we'll be using tomorrow, so you can sit with me watching this video and experience it for yourself and see if it is a technique that could be useful for you in your life in general. So I'll ask you to make yourself comfortable, and you can sit however you want, however's good for your body. So on a chair, you can sit cross-legged, you can kneel, you could even do the first part of this lying down. So if you're tired today and you just want to lie down, then please do. And once you're comfortable, just perhaps taking a breath or two. And you don't have to close your eyes if it's better for you, if it feels better for you to keep your eyes open and perhaps just a soft gaze so that your awareness can be inside, then that is a beautiful way to come into this felt sense and meditation. I'm going to ask you for this to bring your hands to rest in your lap in the way that feels comfortable for you. So there's this grounded weight of your hands in your lap. And perhaps to begin with, you just take a few breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just letting our physicality soften, our shoulders, our spine can soften. There's no need to hold our spine up or lift our sternum. It may just create a little more tension. So just allowing your spine to be upright but soft and relaxed. Perhaps noticing the weight of your hands gently resting in your lap. Noticing the weight of your sit bones and your pelvis on the floor or on the chair, or if you're lying down, then the back body also on the floor. And coming to notice the weight of your legs, the weight of your bones in your legs. Just taking a few breaths here to connect to your bones, to the very marrow, this most dense part of our physicality. So that with this weightedness we can feel really connected to the earth and connected to the earth element within us. Letting yourself settle here, just noticing any signs of settling. Maybe a yawn, just a sense of relaxation. Maybe a sense of softening through the soles of the feet or the palms of the hands. I'm going to ask you to start to connect to the breath. So perhaps allowing the breath to move down towards the base of the body where your awareness has been on your pelvis, your sit bones, your legs, your feet. Maybe coming to notice the expansion and contraction of the belly, just the gentle rise and fall of the navel. Maybe the rise and the fall of your chest, of your ribs. Maybe noticing your breath as it moves into the front of the body. So the area around the navel, the solar plexus, the heart, maybe even up into the throat. taking a few breaths here to notice this. And going to notice the breath in the back body, the area of the tailbone, the sacrum, the lower back, the mid back, and the upper back. And when you're ready, and you can stay here in any of these stages as long as you like, just coming to notice your breath as it moves into the left side body, towards your left hip, left ribs, left chest, perhaps the left armpit and left shoulder, if that feels accessible. Again, staying here as long as you need to, taking your time. You can always pause the video. Perhaps noticing your heartbeat here as your heart resides in the left side of your body. And then gently switching over to the right side, drawing your breath in towards your right hip, your right ribs, your right chest, and perhaps the right armpit and the right shoulder. Maybe even extending that up into the right ear, the right temple, if that feels accessible for you. Tuning to the subtle flow of prana, life force energy as you breathe. And then maybe you could begin to hold an awareness of the right and the left at the same time. So the right side body and the left side body. And see how that feels for you. And gently coming back to notice the front body and the back body. So working with this access of the left to right and the front to back, so that what we'll come to in a moment is the attunement to the spine through these juxtapositions, through these opposites. So perhaps breathing front body, back body in your awareness. Then perhaps it feels good for you, all 4 points, front body, back body, left side body, right side body. Maybe you can work with your felt sense, or if you're visual, allowing any visual of this to come through these 4 cardinal points, like north, south, east and west. And through this subtle awareness, you may start to feel and find vibratory core. Imagine the midline, the line of the spine, the Sushumna Nadi, in between these 4 points of front and back, left and right. Letting your awareness settle. And perhaps beginning to notice how your breath can gently start to move up and down the line of the spine. And just to really place this in our physicality, I'm going to invite you to gently start to rock your pelvis forwards, so you're finding a physical reference of the front body. And maybe it feels a little more anchored than working with the breath. And then gently rocking your pelvis backwards to find a physical anchor of the back body. And again, perhaps this feels a little more anchored or accessible than just the breath. So allowing your physical body, if it feels good for you, to rock front to back. And if you're lying down, or you have been lying down for the breath work, then I'd invite you just very slowly to maybe bend your knees and roll to one side. And just in your own time, when you're ready, come and sit yourself up to join us for this part of the practice, this part of the video. You can pause the video until you're ready. Again, continuing to just move the pelvis front to back. And if you need to change your hand position to help you with this, you're very welcome. And also, if it feels good for you, you could place one hand on your front body and your lower belly and one hand on your lower back as an extra sensory reference here. And when you're ready, we're going to come to see if we can find a midpoint between the front and the back. You may want to release your hands if they're on your body. And as you find this midpoint, just noticing any sensations within your body. Perhaps as you find this central line, there could be a feeling of lengthening the spine, or the spine naturally lengthening itself rather than us lengthening it. It could be a sense of relaxation in the muscles around the spine. Just noticing what's present for yourself here. Perhaps noticing your breath. And again, you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. Your eyes can be open or closed, just making sure you feel relaxed and comfortable. And the invitation next is to come to move between the left and the right sides of the body, so we're working this other axis, this side to side. So maybe just shifting our weight into our left sit bones. Inhaling through center and shifting our weight to our right sit bone, right leg, right hip. want to stay one side, taking a few breaths, just to become more accustomed to the physical movement in this direction, a physical anchor. And when we're ready, moving back to the midline, taking a pause, coming over to the other side. And moving back to the center, taking a pause. Perhaps just finding a gentle flow, a gentle vinyasa between the two. Working with your breath and your felt sense in a way that feels nourishing, grounded, anchored for you. No excess effort is needed, just allowing your body to move in its natural way from side to side. Keeping your awareness inside this introception, this perception of what is happening in your internal landscape. And whenever you feel called, whenever you're ready, I invite you to come back to center. And again, just notice what is happening when you find this midline, the madhya, or this vibratory core within your body. You're welcome to sit here and breathe for as long as you like, with an invitation to gently breathe in through this space between the eyebrows, drawing a white light into the pituitary gland, which sits just above the roof of the mouth. And as you exhale, allowing this white light to descend down to the base of your spine. The pituitary gland in a lot of spiritual traditions is known as this access point to cosmos, or to soul, to all that is, to higher self, to God, however it calls you. But maybe just taking a few breaths into this central point of the brain and exhaling down the line of the spine, this vibratory core, this white light of source, of grace, of connection. And just noticing. I'm going to leave you here. You're welcome to spend as much time as you wish. And whenever you're ready, maybe nice to just create a little bit of warmth between your hands. Place the palms of the hands over the eyes, inhaling that warmth into the mind, and just gently allowing your fingers to come apart so you can softly, softly come back into your room. And the invitation here is to just find 2 or 3 things within your space that you like looking at, to help you orient back into the external world, back into your environment, and to come back into your day. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to share about going through this practice and what you've experienced, feel really welcome to reach out in a comment or a message, and I'll get back to you. Have a beautiful day.
Namaste.